Hey friends, welcome back to the basement grow room where we are going to pot up this year's dahlia tubers together. I have a few new tubers that we purchased this year and we are going to open these up together, as well as a giant tub of saved tubers from years past that we're going to get in here and clean up, take anything off that's not viable. You can see we already have a little sprout in there coming from one, so we will have some viable tubers in here to work with. All right, let me start by running through the few new ones that we purchased because you can see the beautiful pictures on them, and then we're going to get to potting these dahlias up. This first one is the Creme de Cassis. This is such a beautiful dahlia with a dark center, one of my favorites. I've grown this in the past, and I wasn't sure if I still had a tuber that was viable. So I needed to make sure that we were growing this one again this year. And then we have Lucky Number, which is a bright, beautiful pink pop of color. And then Lavender Perfection. I have also grown this in the past, and it creates a giant bloom, gorgeous dahlia. And a new one I have never grown before. This is the Penn Hill Watermelon. Look at her. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is get into one of these bags, get one of these potted up to show you, if you buy them in the store, what you can do. And then I will show you one of these tubers. We're going to get it all cleaned up, snipped and ready to go. Then I'm just going to work on getting all the rest of them potted up. We'll get them watered and under the grow lights, and hopefully we'll get some sprouts here in the next few weeks, and we'll be planting these up within the next month. All right, so we're going to start by opening up one of these bags together, and most of these I'm going to be potting up in just reusable containers that I have bought plants in at the garden center before. So I like to save these and reuse them. And if we do have smaller tubers, I'm going to put them in these, I think these are 4-inch pots here. Also ones that I have just bought plants in and saved throughout the years. So after I pot them up today, I am going to water them in, and then we'll just kind of keep an eye on them for some growth. After it's growing, you're going to want to keep them watered after that, but you just want to make sure you're not overwatering and rotting your tubers before they get to have some of that green growth to support with that water. All right, let's get into this bag. It says there's 2 bulbs in here, which there usually is when I get these. Okay. You can already see there's a few that are kind of dangling and broken off. We're going to have to snip those off. That's okay. Not going to grow anything if they are broken. And like a few of these, that one looks sliced. We're going to get rid of that. But we're going to clean this up. So there is a little growth point. There is a growth point coming off of one of these tubers. Yep, same kind of situation here. We have quite a few dangly ones on this one. I'm hoping we can salvage a couple because there are a few that are broken. All right, so I got our couple of tubers. I just put this in an old sled that we have down in the basement that wasn't being used, and it works really well to kind of contain my mess here. So I'm going to show you up close. We're just going to get rid of a lot of these roots and these dangly tubers, and then we'll see what we're working with. All these ones that aren't really attached anymore, I'm just going to snip right off of there. It's dried up one. So actually on this one, we're really just left with this tuber that wasn't dangling. So I didn't do as good of a job picking this one out of the store, but you don't really know. You try to keep them not broken. That's okay. We're still going to get a flower out of that. And that can fit really perfectly right into one of these 4-inch pots. So I'm just going to set that in there. We're going to keep going here. Let me grab one of these other tubers that we saved from out in the garden here. So this is one of the bigger ones. I can already see some of these are going to have to come off here. I'm going to pick some of this bigger soil off. And then I have a brush so I can get some of this off without damaging any viable tubers, hopefully, that are in here. And get rid of bad ones. Take this stalk down because we're not going to need all of that. Might be able to separate these. Looks like it's that's broken. Okay. You can see this one had this substantial stalk on it. This was one of the tall dahlias that I left accidentally on the south side of the house. So we dug them up, and I thought I was just going to find a pile of mushy tubers and I was going to throw them out. And once I started digging them up, a few of them that were planted up against the foundation of the house look like this. Looks like we might have some things going on here, hopefully. I'm going to cut this stalk off. Once I get this cleaned up a little more, we're going to see if these sprout after we get them in the soil. That would be pretty amazing. Whoa. Okay, that was a hefty stalk. Holy buckets. All right. This one's going to have to go in these pots. Yeah, will be perfect. We'll put some soil on the bottom. All right, let's start with these two small ones here. I'm just going to put a little layer of potting mix in the bottom and then fill the rest up with the potting mix around these tubers. So you want the stalk part from last year kind of facing up. You can see that growth point that's going to face up. So you can just kind of nestle your tuber down in there like that. We're going to cover around the whole thing with the potting mix. Same thing with this one. We'll get a layer of soil in here. All right, I'm going to make labels on these before I forget because this was our tall one that came out and I don't actually have a name for this because I grew this one from seed years ago and have saved it for years. So we might come up with a name, but I know it's a very tall, single-petaled, yellow, bright yellow dahlia. So I'm just going to keep on going with all of these tubers, the ones we have in the bags and the ones that we have saved here, and we'll see how many we get potted up, and I'll show you how we're going to water them in and get them under the lights. I went out to the garage and found some more pots that we can work with here that are a little bit smaller. I think are going to work better for some of these other tubers. All right, so we wound up with 15 dahlias potted up in here, and I'm really happy about that. So I am just going to water these in initially, and I'm just going to pop as many as I can under some of these grow lights over here where they fit. And whatever doesn't fit, I'm just going to end up putting them kind of on the ground around by the lights. And I think that'll be plenty just to give them a little bit of what they need to kind of wake up and get going for the season. And as soon as I can, I'll pop them under lights. But we have to get some of these other things on out of here. And the weather's not cooperating super well outside for us right now up here in Wisconsin, unfortunately. So we're just going to have to work with the situation that we have here. And some of these things will be getting out hopefully pretty soon so we can start planting more outside. All right, so I'm going to water these in. I'll show you where I'm going to set them. And then I'm going to show you the dahlias that we grew from seed because they are doing awesome down here. And I want to show you an update on what we got. And I just want to end today's video by showing you guys a little update on our dahlias that we grew from seed this year. They are all doing awesome. I'm going to bring you guys in close so you can take a look at these. We could pinch these pretty soon so that we can get a few more blooms going out in the garden. So I'll show you how we're going to do that in another time. But here is our tray of dahlias, all grown from saved seed, except for one plant over there from a seed packet of the giant Ford mix. But all the rest of these dahlias were grown from seed that we saved from dahlias out in the garden. So we get to see what these beauties are going to look like, because I have no idea. They will be a mystery to us. So thanks for joining me today down in the grow room, getting some dahlias potted up. I love dahlias, so I can personally not wait till these are going out in the garden and getting ready to bloom, because dahlias are just amazing and I love them every single year. So don't forget to subscribe if you guys want to see what these dahlias are going to look like blooming out in the garden. Thanks again for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next one.